My name is Yaku, this is my workshop, and we make jewellery videos, or manufacturing thereof.
What are we talking about today? What do we have
Some
for
enthusiasm.
the people of YouTube?
As per usual, something came in and we'd like to share that manufacturing process with you. If you find something that you might be able to apply in your workshop, great. If not, just watch it for the entertainment value. We're making a men's ring today, a really chunky flat top men's ring. We're taking some diamonds out of an antique brooch, 2.36 carat diamonds, old cut diamonds again. It's going into white gold.
This ring is serious, it means business.
Yeah. Chunky, flashy diamond ring. I hope you enjoy the video. There was a particular picture that the customer liked. Can we apply what they saw, not copying the design, but the aspects of the design that they really appreciate, and utilizing what they've given us to create this piece for them. I started with 7mm square, and I wanted 7mm because the diameter is quite big. We need a flat top at the top, which means that your corners need to be as high as 7mm to accommodate the actual diameter. Effectively, you've got to work with thick metal just to accommodate the two edges. Once I've marked out my three main stones area, which I know I've got to go flat on, I can then start tapering the sides. I simply do that by marking where I want to stop for the three stones in the center, and then starting to roll up to that mark, turn it around, same this side, go slightly smaller, up to that mark again, slightly smaller. So I'm tapering the ring, and this will also make it easier for me to fold it and to hammer it and to shape it. As I'm working with the hammer on the sides, I've got the metal obviously compressing, which means it's also spreading out to the edges over here. So I'm using my flat valve punch to make sure that the sides that are compressing are compressed back, so that I keep sort of forcing it into its shape, hardening the metal as I'm going along. Once I've hammered the ring into its rough shape, I can now start with the files. I'm using a very rough file to then flatten out the sides and do the final shaping. Then I step it up to a finer file to really start refining it. You know the process. It's rough file, finer file, then we can go down to our sandpapers and really start getting what we're looking for. I can now place the diamonds on the top, and they're ready for the seating, the setting, which is going to be sort of like a recessed channel vibe that I'm doing there.
Cool.
I now need to find where I'm going to put the stones, and being in the middle of the ring, I'm using a divider on the one side to trace exactly where they need to go, and this is for the stones in the center as well down the sides, and I turn the ring around doing the same. So you'll find that the dividing line will either be on top, or as the ring tapers they'll sort of pass over each other, but they'll still create an area where you know this is the middle, that's the middle. We're starting from the center point, drilling a hole, and then bringing a ball phrase in, which is slightly smaller than the diameter of the stone that I'm going to be using. These are old cut stones, they're not perfectly round, but it will give me an idea. I need to be slightly smaller so that when I set the stone, I've got enough material to hold the stone. Once I've drilled the hole for the big stone, I'm bringing in the small stones, placing them next to the big stone to give me a visual idea of where I need to be. I take the diameter of these stones and I mark them to see how much space I've got. Essentially what I need to fill is the gap between where that hole is from the middle stone and the edge of the ring itself. So that's the middle point right there, and I'll have a little bit to play with, a fractional sizing between the two stones where they meet on either side. We're trying to get maximum impact, so these stones are going to be close to each other. They are really big stones. Once I've made the holes for the diamonds, I'm using sandpaper to give me a better, clearer idea of exactly what's going on. I need to have a channel cut into this area now, and the channel is going to be cut by using a saw blade. And what I do with the saw blade is I'll cut down this side, cut down the other side. I'm actually looking at the depth of the saw blade as I'm going down. I don't want to go too far down, and as I've gone down and now I'm straight, I can turn the saw blade by right, because the saw blade's back is actually round, so you can go in one spot, and while you're moving you can turn the saw blade, and then going horizontally from the one side, pulling it out and doing the same from the other side, you can actually cut quite a neat little channel, which is exactly what I've done here. Once the channel is cut, I can then bring in a small square file and make sure that the area is absolutely flat. So I've got the flat top, I've got the holes, and now I've got a channel that drops down where the stones are going to be lying in. Next to that, as you'll see later on in the video, I'm also going to cut a ridge on the edges of the ring. So I'm sinking the ring away from the original height that I had. I'm dropping down from the top to allow the stones an area where they can lie on top, and using the wall, which would be the channel, to set over. So that area where they're lying on top is part of the design of the actual ring. I'm dropping them down so that they're lying with their girdle just above the recessed area which I've just cut, which leaves me more than enough space over the edge of the diamond to set them in a channel setting. Once I've done this groove, and I know that's deep enough, I have to continue this groove down the edges. I start off again with the ball phrases to indicate where I want the stones to lie, and then from there onwards mark exactly what I need, so that when the stone lies once again on this recessed area, I have enough wall to pull around and do a setting on the side. I'm not doing a channel where you're cutting all the way down, because part of this design is where the diamond lies on top, and you have, it almost looks like it lies on top of a table, and it's a pre-polished recess. So that's where I'm at right now. But I want this channel part that sits over the stones, the excess on the side, I want to break that slightly as well. I want to do a step down that relates to the recess I've just done over there. That means that the solid bits that holds the stone at the moment, I want to create a little wall there to make it a little wall that holds the stones. At this point I can take a saw blade, cut through exactly where I want the wall to be. So I'm splitting that little section that's left between the stone and the edge of the ring, splitting that in two, and I'm recessing the edges down. That's part of the design, so to make the ring not appear as high, and it also gives it a bit of dimension. And by doing this and following through down to the same height as the recess, those little walls appear to be soldered on afterwards. Now you could have done this by soldering a little plate over it, and a lot of people will point out, why didn't you just solder a little plate over it? You didn't have to go as thick. Again, I did this ring because I felt like doing this ring this way. There are different ways of going about this, and I've applied different ways as well, but that particular day I needed to hammer something and create it like this. My shank at the bottom is still far too thick for this ring. Even though it's a chunky ring, it's way over the top and completely unnecessary. Everything's as it should be. I've got my bottom thickness, I've got the stones in, I've got the walls, and it's just time for refining. It's time for polishing, and then we can again release the ring. The ring is done. I'm happy with it. The customer is extremely happy with it. And we believe that the ring itself is happy as well, don't we, Demise?
Yes, we really do like to believe
The
that.
ring is living its best life.
It's doing what rings do.
I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found something in it. As per usual, please like, subscribe, comment, share, bell icon, all of those good stuff. Until next week again. Demaya, next week, are we going to be back next week?
We're back every Sunday, guys.
We're
You
back
can
every
count on
Sunday.
us.
Every
You can count
Sunday,
on
like
us.
clockwork. You could switch on YouTube and you will find us over there.
Yeah.
Until next week then. Thank you very much for watching. Cheers.